The moment I pushed open the front door of my small craftsman-style house, a chill settled over Minute from the autumn air, but from the silence. It wasn't the comforting quiet of a home at rest. It was oppressive, like the world holding its breath before a scream. My name is Elise Harper, and I just returned from a 3-day corporate retreat in the mountains, where I'd been forced to navigate trust falls and group problem-solving with colleagues I barely liked. But standing in my living room, surrounded by appended furniture, scattered books, and papers strewn like fallen leaves, I realized the real betrayal wasn't at work. It was here, in the place I'd called home for 5 years. My boots crunched on broken glass as I stepped inside. Picture frames lay face down, their contents ripped out. Drawers hung open, their secrets spilled. The couch cushions were slashed, stuffing spilling out like entrails. But it wasn't the chaos that made my stomach twist, it was what was missing. The safe in the study, its door ajar, gaped like a wound. They hadn't taken jewelry or cash. They'd gone for something far more personal. My great-aunt Clara's letters, the only tangible pieces I had left of her. Those faded pages, filled with her sharp wit and hard-earned wisdom, were my anchor, my proof that I came from something stronger than the life I'd built here. I fumbled for my phone, my fingers trembling as I dialed Nathan's number. My husband. 1 ring. 2. The click of voicemail felt like a slap. "Nathan, someone broke into the house," I said, my voice steadier than I felt. "The safe's open. Call me back. Now." I didn't expect an answer. He was probably at his mother's sprawling estate across town, sipping her overpriced wine, pretending he didn't know why I was calling. Margaret Pierce, Nathan's mother, had a way of making her presence felt even when she wasn't in the room. And this destruction had her fingerprints all over it. I moved through the house like a ghost, cataloging the damage. The kitchen cabinets were emptied, canned goods rolling across the floor. My office, where I ran my freelance graphic design business, was a war zone, sketches torn. My laptop untouched, but my external hard drives missing. This wasn't a random burglary. Whoever did this knew exactly what they were looking for, and they wanted to hurt me. My phone buzzed, not Nathan but my friend and colleague Sam Carter. "How was the drive back?" he asked, his voice warm with concern. "Someone broke into my house," I said, the words catching in my throat. "They got into the safe. They knew the combination." "Jesus, Elise, are you okay? Do you need me to come over?" "No," I said too quickly. "I know who did this. Margaret's behind it. I can feel it." "Your mother-in-law? Why would she?" "Because she's been after Clara's letters for years. She thinks they prove my family cheated hers out of some land deal from the 1950s. It's her obsession, Sam. She can't stand that Nathan married someone she can't control." There was a pause. "Call the police," he said finally. "You need to report this." "And tell them what?" "That my mother-in-law used a key my husband probably gave her to steal family documents. That my sister-in-law, Lauren, probably helped because she's still bitter about her own failed marriage and wants to ruin mine." I laughed, but it was sharp hollow. "They're too smart for that. They'll say Nathan gave them permission. It'll be my word against the entire Pierce family." I reached the basement stairs, the door slightly ajar. I hadn't checked down there yet. "I have to go, Sam. I need to see what else they took." "Elise, wait." I hung up, my heart pounding as I descended. The basement was unfinished, all exposed beams and concrete, a place we rarely used except for storage. The light flickered on, revealing more chaos: boxes overturned, old furniture shoved aside. But something caught my eye. A small slip of paper pinned under a fallen crate. I knelt, pulling it free. A receipt from the local hardware store dated 3 days ago, for a duplicate key. My breath hitched. They'd planned this. My phone buzzed again. "Nathan." I answered before he could speak. "Where are you?" "At Mom's," he said, his voice tight. "Listen, Elise, I can explain. Did you give her a key?" Silence. "Then," she said, "she just wanted to check on the house while you were away. Look for some old family photos." "I didn't think." "You didn't think?" I snapped, crushing the receipt in my fist. Those letters were all I had left of Clara, Nathan. The only things that were truly mine. "We can talk about this when I get home." No, the word was a blade, cutting through years of compromises. "We'll talk about this now. I'm coming over there, and Nathan, Tell your mother to brace herself. She's not the only one who can play dirty. I ended the call, standing in the wreckage of my basement, surrounded by the debris of a life I'd fought so hard to build. They thought they could break me, make me bend to their will like everyone else in their orbit. But they had no idea who they were dealing with. Sometimes the most dangerous person isn't the one who strikes first. It's the one who knows how to hit back harder. Margaret's estate loomed at the end of a manicured drive, all white columns and ivy, a monument to her carefully curated perfection. Inside, her living room was a study in control, every cushion fluffed, every surface gleaming. The family photos lining the walls told her version of history. Nathan and Lauren as children, smiling under her watchful eye. Not a single picture of our wedding day. I stood in the center of it all, my muddy boots leaving faint smudges on her pristine rug, and felt like an invader in a foreign land. I have no idea what you're talking about, Margaret said, her voice smooth as silk as she poured tea into bone china cups. Nathan gave me permission to look for some old albums while you were away. Nothing more. Lauren sat beside her, arms crossed, her bare ring finger a silent accusation. You're overreacting, Elise, she said. As usual. I set the hardware store receipt on the coffee table, watching Margaret's eyes flicker. Funny how you needed a new key made 3 days ago. Planning ahead. Nathan shifted in his seat, his gaze darting between his mother and me. Maybe we should all calm down. Oh, we're calm, I said, my voice low, dangerous. Just like I was calm last Thanksgiving when you went through my emails while I was cooking dinner, Margaret. Or when you showed up at my client meeting last month to check on me. I worry about my son, Margaret said, her fingers tightening around her teacup. Someone has to look out for his interests. His interests? I laughed, the sound jagged. Or yours. Mother was right about you from the start, Lauren cut in, leaning forward, her eyes gleaming with malice. You never fit into this family. Always hiding things, locking them away in that safe. Those letters belong to us. They prove your great-aunt cheated our family out of that land 60 years ago. Margaret's mask slipped just for a second. That property should have been ours. Your great-aunt knew exactly what she was doing when she... Mother. Nathan's voice was sharp, a warning too late. I stood, the pieces snapping into place. So you admit you took them? Margaret's face smoothed over instantly. I admitted nothing. And you have no proof. You're right. I pulled out my phone, thumb hovering over the record button. But I will. I turned to Nathan, my voice steady despite the storm inside me. Are you coming home, or staying here? He looked at his mother, then at me, caught in the same tug-of-war he'd been losing for years. I think maybe we all need space to cool off. Wrong answer. I headed for the door, pausing to look back at Margaret. You know what's funny? Those letters you stole? They're not even the originals. Just copies I kept as bait. Clara taught me well, always keep what matters most where people like you can't touch it. Margaret's teacup clattered against its saucer. You're lying. Am I? Guess you'll have to wonder. Along with what else I might have hidden. I met Nathan's eyes. Don't bother coming home tonight. Or maybe ever. Elise, wait, he started to rise, but Lauren grabbed his arm. Let her go, she said. She's just trying to manipulate you. Like always. I closed the door on Margaret's perfect world and walked to my car, my hands shaking as I gripped the steering wheel, not from fear, but from something fiercer. The originals were safe, just as I'd said, locked in a safety deposit box at the bank downtown. I'd moved them there the day after our wedding, when I'd caught Margaret eyeing Clara's letters during the reception, her curiosity too sharp, too hungry. My phone buzzed. Sam again. How bad was it? He asked. They took the bait, I said, starting the engine. Margaret practically confessed. But I need your help with something else. Remember that security system you set up at your cabin? The one with the hidden cameras? Yeah. Why? Because I'm done playing defense. They want to keep coming for me? Let's make sure we catch them next time. I pulled away from Margaret's house, watching it shrink in my rearview mirror. And Sam? Thank you. For being the one person in my life who actually listens. Always, he said. But Elise, be careful. People like that are most dangerous when they're cornered. I ended the call, my mind already racing. Margaret thought she had me figured out, thought she could outmaneuver me with her charm and her connections. But she'd forgotten one thing. I'd spent 5 years watching her manipulate everyone around her, learning her tricks, her tells. And now I was ready to turn her own game against her. The coffee shop across from Margaret's favorite spa wasn't my usual haunt, but it had a clear view of her Mercedes parked outside. I'd been nursing a latte for 2 hours when Sam slid into the booth across from me, sliding a fresh cup my way. "Cameras are up," he said. "Motion sensors, night vision, everything feeding to your phone. But are you sure about this?" I nodded toward the spa's window where Margaret and Lauren sat, their heads bent together over manicures. "Listen." I pressed play on my phone, the audio crisp from the tiny tracker I'd slipped into Margaret's purse during our confrontation. Her voice filled the space between us. "We need those original letters," she was saying. "That safety deposit box is at her bank downtown. Nathan says she's been pulling financial records lately. Probably planning to divorce him and take everything," Lauren replied, her tone dripping with venom. "Over my dead body," Margaret snapped. "I didn't spend 40 years building this family's name to let her ruin it. We're going back to her house tomorrow while she's at her meeting. There has to be something we can use against her." I stopped the recording. "Still think I'm paranoid?" Sam's face darkened. "We should take this to the police." "And tell them what?" "That my mother-in-law's planning another break-in? They'll call it a family dispute." I wrapped my hands around the warm cup, grounding myself. "Besides, I don't just want to stop them. I want them to face consequences for once in their charmed lives." My phone buzzed. "Nathan calling for the 4th time today." I declined it. "He's been staying at their house," I said. "Probably scheming with them, trying to figure out where the originals are." "Or maybe he's worried about you," Sam offered. "Then he should have worried before giving them a key to our house." The coffee turned bitter on my tongue. "Before choosing them over me." Again. A text from Nathan popped up. "Please come home. We need to talk." I stared at the word home, my chest tightening. "Home," I muttered. "Like that means anything anymore." Sam leaned forward. "Elise, I know you're hurt, but—" The spa door chimed. Margaret and Lauren stepped out, their nails gleaming, their faces masks of smug confidence. They headed for Margaret's car, but she paused, her gaze sweeping across the street. For a heartbeat I thought she saw me. Her lips curved into that knowing smile I'd grown to despise. She knew I was watching. "Time to go," I said, standing abruptly. "They'll be at my house tomorrow at 11, per their usual routine. That's when we'll catch them." Sam raised an eyebrow. "I thought you wanted to handle this alone." "I did. I do." I gathered my things, my hands trembling not from fear, but from anticipation. "But I can't face them by myself anymore. I need someone in my corner. Always." He touched my arm lightly. "Just promise me one thing, don't let this consume you. I've seen what revenge does to people." I watched Margaret's car pull away, remembering the first time she'd shown her true colors at our engagement party, when she'd cornered me in the powder room. "You'll never be one of us," she'd said, her smile sharp as a blade. "One day, Nathan will see that." "This isn't about revenge," I told Sam, though the words felt heavy. "It's about justice. And maybe saving Nathan from her, even if he doesn't want to be saved." My phone buzzed again, a text from an unknown number. I opened it and my blood ran cold. "Found something in your gray tant's old legal files. Tomorrow 1 p.m. Willow Creek Park. Come alone or Nathan learns everything about the Carver deal." I froze. The Carver deal, Clara's deepest regret. A case she buried decades ago. The real reason Margaret despised our family. It wasn't just about land. It was about power, betrayal, and a secret that could unravel everything. Sam noticed my expression. "What's wrong?" "Nothing," I lied, forcing a smile. "Just work stuff. I should go prepare for tomorrow." But as I walked to my car, Margaret's words from that engagement party echoed in my head. "One day Nathan will see that." Maybe she was right. Maybe tomorrow he would. And maybe it was time he did. Willow Creek Park was gray and still at 1 p.m., the kind of cold that seeps into your bones. I sat on a bench by the creek, clutching a Folder Me insurance policy, filled with documents I'd pulled from Clara's old law firm archives. The Carver deal wasn't what Margaret thought it was, but it was still a weapon, and I wasn't sure yet how I'd use it. A shadow fell across me, and I looked up, not Margaret but Nathan. My voice broke. "What are you doing here?" "Mom told me everything," he said, sitting beside me, careful to leave space. "About the Carver deal. About what your great-aunt did to our family." The folder felt like lead in my hands. "Did she tell you how your grandfather tried to sabotage Clara's firm? How he spread lies to steal her clients because she wouldn't sell him that land?" He rubbed his face, exhausted. "She said you'd twist it. Like she twisted you." I turned to face him, my voice steady now. "When did you give her the safe combination, Nathan?" His silence was louder than any confession. "The week after our engagement," I pressed. "When she convinced you I was hiding something. That's why you've been checking our accounts, right? Looking for proof I'm betraying you." "I was protecting us," he said, but it sounded hollow. "Us." My laugh was sharp, unfamiliar. "There's never been an us. There's only ever been your family." My phone buzzed, Sam checking on the cameras. Everything was set for tomorrow's trap, but sitting here, staring at Nathan, it all felt pointless. "She's using you," I said softly. "She always has. And you let her because it's easier than fighting back. You don't understand." "I understand perfectly." I stood, dropping the folder in his lap. "Here. The Carver deal files. Proof that your grandfather was the liar, not Clara. Proof that your mother's been manipulating you for years." He stared at the folder, his hands frozen. "How did you get these?" "Clara's old partner. He's been waiting decades for someone to expose the truth." I stepped back. "But you know what? Keep them. Burn them. Give them to Margaret. I don't care anymore." "Elise, wait," he reached for me, but I pulled away. "I filed for divorce yesterday," I said, the words slicing through me. "Check your email. The papers are waiting." His face went pale. "You what?" "I'm done being the villain in your mother's story. Done watching you choose her over me. Done pretending we have something worth saving." He stood, the folder slipping to the ground. "We can fix this. I'll talk to Mom." "That's the problem." I stepped back, my voice cold. "Your first instinct is always to run to her. It always will be." My phone buzzed. "Margaret. Where are you?" "We had a deal." I typed back, "Deal's off. Ask Nathan about the files." "You can't just throw away 5 years," Nathan said, his voice breaking. "You did that when you gave them the key to our house." I started walking away, then paused. "The saddest part? I thought I could save you from her. But you don't want to be saved. Elise." "Goodbye, Nathan." I walked through the park, past the spot where we'd had our first date, past the tree where he'd carved our initials. My phone kept buzzing. Margaret, Nathan, even Lauren. I silenced them all. Only Sam's text got through. "Cameras are live. Still want to go through with tomorrow?" I stopped at the park's edge, glancing back. Nathan stood where I'd left him, the folder at his feet, looking lost. For a moment I wavered. Then I remembered the ransacked house, the violated safe, 5 years of lies and half-truths. "Yes," I texted back. "But new plan. I don't just want to catch them. I want to end this." "What do you mean?" Sam replied. I watched Nathan pull out his phone, probably calling Margaret, always running back to her. "I want to destroy them," I typed. "All of them. Because sometimes the only way to survive is to burn it all down and start over." The security feed glowed on my laptop, parked across the street from my house. Sam's setup was flawless, cameras covering every entrance, every angle. Even the backyard where Margaret always complained about my roses. "You don't have to watch," Sam said from the passenger seat. "We can let the system record it." "I need to see it," I said, my grip tightening on my coffee cup. "Need to know how they do it." At 11 sharp, Margaret's Mercedes rolled up. She stepped out, her coat pristine, her posture regal. Lauren followed, her face set in a scowl. Then a third door opened. Nathan. My cup crumpled, coffee spilling over my hand. "He's with them." They approached the front door, Nathan glancing around nervously. Margaret gestured sharply, and he pulled out a key, his original, not a copy. "Jesus," Sam muttered. "Elise, maybe we should." A fourth figure emerged from the car, and my breath caught. A man in a tailored suit carrying a briefcase, his face vaguely familiar. That's Victor Hayes, Sam said. Margaret's attorney. I've seen him at fundraisers. They disappeared inside. I switched camera views, watching them move through my house with chilling ease. Margaret led the way, her voice clear through the hidden mics. The study, she said. Those Carver files have to be here. Mom, she said she gave them to me. Nathan protested, his voice weak. Copies, Margaret snapped. You think she'd give up her leverage? Search everything. I watched them tear through my home again. But this time I saw the details I'd missed before: Nathan's hesitant movements, Lauren's gleeful destruction, Margaret's barely concealed desperation. The safe, Hayes said suddenly. Did you check behind it? My heart stopped. The safe was a decoy, but behind it was a hidden panel, a quirk of the house's old design. Inside were documents I'd collected over years, not just Clara's letters, but proof of Margaret's shady deals, her skimming from her charity's funds. There's nothing back there, Nathan said too fast. Margaret's eyes narrowed. Move it. Mother. Move it. I grabbed my phone, my thumb over 911. Nathan stepped toward the safe, then froze. No. What did you say? Margaret's voice was ice. I said no. His voice grew stronger. This stops now. We're leaving. After everything I've done for you? Margaret's composure cracked. That woman has turned you against your own blood. That woman is my wife. Not for long, Hayes said smoothly. The divorce papers were filed. You have no legal right to stop us. From what? I stepped into the doorway, phone recording, Sam behind me. Breaking and entering? Theft? Conspiracy. They froze except Margaret. She smiled unruffled. Perfect timing, dear. We were just discussing the Carver deal. Family matters. I can see that. I moved into the room, my voice steady. But you made one mistake, Margaret. You got careless. I don't know what you mean. The Carver deal wasn't about land, was it? It was about covering up what you did. Her smile faltered. The real documents aren't behind that safe. They're with the deal, along with proof you've been embezzling from your charity for years. The room exploded. Margaret lunged for Hayes, Lauren screamed. Nathan stood frozen. But I kept my eyes on Margaret, watching her world unravel. Sometimes justice isn't about fighting. Sometimes it's about letting your enemies destroy themselves. Police lights flashed across my living room hours later. Margaret sat on the couch, crocodile tears streaming down her face as she spun her story to the officers. I was protecting my son, she sobbed, pointing at me. She's been threatening us for years. Hayes backed her up, his voice slick. Mrs. Harper has been obsessive, unstable. The break-in was to recover family documents. My phone felt useless in my pocket. The recording wouldn't be enough against her machine. But then Nathan spoke. Stop, he said, stepping forward. Mom, just stop. Her tears vanished. Nathan, you don't understand. I understand everything. He turned to me, his eyes raw. The embezzlement, it's true, isn't it? That's why you've been so desperate to ruin Elise. Everything I did was for this family. Margaret's mask shattered. That money built your life, Lauren's life. And she jabbed a finger at me, threatened to take it all. The officers exchanged looks. Mrs. Pierce, one said, we'll need you to come with us. This is outrageous. Margaret turned to Hayes. Do something. But Hayes was already slipping toward the door. I believe our business is concluded, Margaret. It was over quickly after that, Margaret in cuffs, Lauren trailing her, Hayes vanishing into the night. The evidence I'd gathered was collected, catalogued, sealed. Nathan stayed. Elise, he started. Don't. I wrapped my arms around myself, cold despite the chaos. I didn't know about the money, he said. I swear. But you knew about the break-ins. The lies. My voice broke. You chose them every time. I can fix this. Fix what? I gestured at the wreckage. Our home? My trust? Your mother's in handcuffs and I'm filing for divorce. What can you fix? Sam appeared in the doorway. Elise, the detective needs you. I moved to follow, but Nathan grabbed my arm.
If you were the one in this story, how would you react? Would you stand up and fight back, or accept the unreasonable pressure and control from the HOA? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video with more people. Your small action gives us the motivation to keep bringing you more intense and engaging stories. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.